Relationships feel weird because we've become disconnected from the emotional skills relationships require. Now, when you think about that, kind of makes sense, right? And when you look around, that definitely makes sense. I feel like the discourse when it comes to relationships is a dumpster fire. People are either afraid of relationships, they're playing games in relationships. Everything has become like a chess match, even though most people are playing checkers. People are trying to cheat the system, and nobody wants to feel anything. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. But that's not how true relationships are designed. And the energy of this week is really going to demonstrate that, whether you like it or not. So, if you want to know more about the energy of the moment and perhaps how to tap into the more positive side of relationships, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new around here, hi, hello, and welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you're new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So I want to say that I hesitated in making this video in this way, only because there's so much discourse on relationships. I feel like, honestly, when people hear relationships, it almost goes in one ear and out the other. People are either fed up, burnt out, or really desiring relationships and not knowing how to have them, or at least how to have healthy ones. And I'm not here to diagnose anything. I'm not here to give the answer because, baby, I'm still figuring out myself. All I can tell you is what we are tasked with learning right now. And what we're tasked with learning right now is emotions, especially in relationships. And of course, it is sponsored by the astrology of the moment. So let's get into it. So, one of the things that I've noticed a lot lately, and maybe it's just me, and maybe it's just my particular algorithm, but the discourse around relationships is horrific. I mean, you have people who are swearing off relationships, people who are talking so much shit about the opposite sex or even the same sex, depending on your algorithm, right? People are just afraid, burnt out, like I said before, when it comes to relationships. And that kind of makes sense. We are in a time where our minds are firing on all cylinders. We have access to so much more information. Dating is at our fingertips. Side note, I was having a conversation with a friend recently, and I was talking about how, you know, you like now it's like, especially if you're on the apps, you're spoiled for choice. And your criteria has become a lot more superficial. It's literally just swipe left, swipe right, depending on the mask that someone is presenting to you online. Everything is so superficial. There's nothing that goes underneath the surface. And when we do delve underneath the surface, we are traversing some really murky waters. And this is because collectively we are really feeling the effects of how we've been operating as a collective. And because we have access to so much information, we're able to see it and understand it in real time in ways that we were not able to before, right? Just the fact that people are able to talk about it and people are feeling more comfortable being honest about how they feel about themselves, relationships, motherhood, all the things, right? But at the same time, we are very much in here when it comes to relationships. And when we take a more mental stance in relationships, this is where we become hyper vigilant, where we are interpreting things more than actually living in them. We're all reacting to interpretations and perceptions of people, not actually people. And for some, it's because we've been hurt. For others, it's because we are unsure or uncertain. Like there's various reasons why. And this isn't to penalize you for doing this. It's about understanding why you're doing it and sort of where we're being directed, at least right now. At a time when Uranus is in Gemini, and this is just taking everything online up 100 notches, and how information and learning is so easily accessible, we're able to hear people's stories and people's yapping videos and story times and all the things and 21-part series about how they met their boyfriend and all the things and who the fuck did I marry and all the things, right? But here's what's I feel like these narratives we are taking them and we are adopting them without actually having the experience of them. Now, I get it. If you hear that everyone is having a hard time dating, it's really going to deter you from getting into the dating pool, right? But now you're basing your lived experience off someone else's subjective experience, not your own, right? So no one knows how to relate because we're not relating to each other. We're relating to interpretations of each other. And this has people scared, anxious, burnt out, all the things. However, this is the week where you can, if you want to, of course, free will is a thing, experience the benefits of emotions, the benefits of softness, of taking off the mask, of the actual experience as opposed to what you think the experience is trying to tell you. That's because we have a nice little pocket of planetary energy in Cancer this week. We've got Mercury in Cancer, we've got Venus and Jupiter in Cancer, and Venus and Jupiter are going to meet up on June 9th for this really beautiful conjunction that, if you tap into it, may really get you to get out of your head and into your heart, particularly when it comes to relationships. And then Venus is going to move into Leo, which is lover girl, lover boy kind of energy, which is heart centered. Now, don't get me wrong, this transition from head to heart, it's not going to be easy because the discourse is loud, the narratives are loud, the perceptions are loud, and that is hard to ignore. Right? Even for those who are in relationships, a lot of the discourse out there is having you look at your partner sideways like, are they going to cheat? Are they not going to cheat? Are they on the DL? Like so many things. It makes you think that every single relationship is doomed to fail, and that is just not true. The thing about Uranus and Gemini is that it can really speak to the collective narrative, the collective story. And the more voices that you have, the more discourse, the more yapping videos, the more talking heads, the more story times, the more it stirs up and it creates this collective narrative. But here's the thing about Uranus. While Uranus represents the collective, it represents the collective as a group of individuals. Now, that may sound counterintuitive. However, it's like, yes, we're part of the collective, but you're an individual within the collective. You have your own experience, and those experiences, they help shape the collective. The collective does not and should not shape the individual. And I think that this is where we've lost the plot when it comes to relationships. We're taking everything else. And I'm not saying that we're just hearing other people's stories and taking it as gospel. Some of us relate to these stories because we've experienced them ourselves. So I'm not just going to say that we're all running wild with everyone else's narrative. Some of us are like, oh, yeah, that's my narrative too. That's my narrative too. However, the energy of the moment fosters listening to your heart, listening to the emotions, understanding what you need emotionally in relationships. That's another way that this energy can really um take shape for you. Cancer is it's the first of the water signs, so it is sort of the foundation of your emotional life. It can represent your basic emotional needs. And with a sign like Venus in the sign of Cancer, Venus being the planet of relationships, I mean, the planet of Venus in the sign of Cancer, What do you need in relationships to feel safe, to feel secure? I promise you, it is out there. It is. This collective discourse, honestly, I feel like a lot of it is kind of propaganda to keep us separated, right? To create this general collective narrative that doesn't take into account our individual experiences and to get you to forget your individual experiences, right? But this is the week where you can actually tap into that. I want you to pay attention to Tuesday, June 9th. This is when Venus and Jupiter will be conjunct in Cancer. And keep in mind, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. So the energy of Jupiter is very, very potent, right? And so keep in mind, though, Jupiter only expands what it touches, whether it's good or bad. So if you have a whole bunch of negative emotions concerning relationships, negativity concerning emotions, generally Jupiter is going to expand that right now. So this could be very uncomfortable for you. But even in that uncomfortability, you can figure out what it is that you need. What are your basic emotional needs? How do you want to feel in relationships? What kind of relationships do you want to have? How do you want your partner to make you feel? These are important because these are the true foundations of relationships. Yes, it's not the case that you just feel your way through relationships and don't take your common sense with you. That would be ridiculous to be that reductive. What I am saying though is that you kind of need to quiet the noise and drop from your head to your heart. And no, it does not make you soft. It does not make you a pick me. It does not make you a simp. It makes you a human. And so, if anything, this could be a week where you gain some emotional maturity. Maybe you are met with difficult emotions that you have to work through, difficult emotions in relationships or concerning relationships, right? It gives you the opportunity to develop that emotional maturity, which benefits not only you, but all of us as the collective. Okay. And what I love about the energy of this week is that Venus and Jupiter in Cancer, even with Mercury there as well. Mercury, the planet of communication, right? In Cancer is like, it's not about what you say, it's how you make people feel. It's how you express yourself emotionally, right? So emotions are on the menu this week. Hard body, that's first. Second, what I love about this energy is that with Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter in Cancer, it's like, can you feel? Can you allow yourself to feel? Now, Cancer is not always the easiest element or the easiest sign or energy to get through because it can take us back to perhaps what we didn't receive, how we didn't feel safe, accepted, loved. Those are hard things to deal with. But I think the conjunction of Venus and Jupiter this week will help to make that confrontation a little easier. So take that into advisement. But again, all of the Cancer energy is like, can you feel? Can you allow yourself to feel? Can you allow yourself to go from your head to your heart? And then when Venus moves into Leo, it's, can I express how I feel? So it gives you the opportunity to really cultivate the feelings within you, get your emotional self together, and then by the end of the week, now you can start displaying that. And now you can start using that energy outwardly within your relationships, whether they're friendships, romantic, business, whatever, right? But either way, this is an invitation to get out of your head, to stop listening to the discourse, to understand that your emotions are valid. I think that also what's happening with a lot of us is that you may feel certain things, but the discourse is basically telling you to not feel them. Now, again, my algorithm is extremely interesting right now because this is the we don't need men, we should just, date people that can do for us. We, fuck feelings. I catch flights, not feelings. That's what kind of time my algorithm is on right now. And I cannot say that I enjoy it because while I understand mentally the need for this kind of thinking, particularly in the times that we are in, I know personally I am not designed that way. And I think a lot of people aren't either. People talk about they want peace, they want certain things in relationships. And when it comes to doing the actions that will allow that, some people shy away from that, right? Everyone doesn't want to be labeled soft, a pick me, a simp. Like everyone's concerned about what everyone else thinks about relationships. Side note, slight tangent. I remember it was either earlier this year or late last year. There was this article that came out, and the question was, is having a boyfriend embarrassing? And I remember thinking, what the fuck kind of article is this? Now, the article did make some points. However, I felt like it speaks to a bigger issue of we're more concerned about how we are perceived, not only in relationships, but how people perceive us if we are in relationships, right? It's not so much how my partner perceives me or what I think about relationships. How are they going to talk about me? How are they going to perceive me if they see if I'm in a relationship, if I'm posting my partner online, if whatever, right? Is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend? Like these kind of discourses are wild to me because it takes us completely out of our emotions and really into the perception of the collective, which is very Pluto and Aquarius, Uranus and Gemini, if I'm being honest. But I say all this to say that we have the ability to really feel. We have the ability to express our emotions this week. And I'm not just saying, oh, it's for this week and then that's it. We can begin to do this. This can be a very remedial kind of week. This could be a very rehabilitative kind of week if we use it as such. Are most people going to? Probably not. Because, like I said, that discourse is really loud. We are concerned about appearances, masks, meeting someone's representative as opposed to meeting them. It's making relationships and how we relate to each other extremely weird to the point where so many people don't even know how to relate to each other anymore. It's like, do I need to, like, I'm not trying to get got, so I need to get them before they can get me. I need to automatically distrust. I need to automatically do all of these things. I need to play these games. I need to come in with a strategy. Now, I'm not saying just wear your heart on your sleeve and open yourself up to anything, but real relationships require vulnerability. And the last thing I'll say is that that vulnerability can be cultivated this week, beginning this week. We're about to enter Cancer season, and for better or for worse, Cancer season will bring the emotions, baby. It is the first of the water signs. So, this is the first time in the astrological new year where we are going to be waterboarded with emotions. So, use this week to get comfortable, use this week to get acclimated, and use this week to really drop out of your head and into your heart and start feeling what you are feeling. Relationships can be beautiful, they can be fulfilling, they can be peaceful. It's the discourse that makes them pure hell. So think about that as you navigate your emotions this week. All right, my loves. That's pretty much all I've got for you for this video for this week. Hopefully it was helpful. If you found that it was, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and set notifications so you'll be notified every time I come out with new content. And so I want you to sound off in the comments below. Let me know what house is Cancer in your natal chart if you know, because this is where this is all going down. So for some of you, this could be relationships. For others, this is friendships. For others, this is family dynamics. Let me know the house of Cancer in your natal chart. I'd love to know. All right. And so, if you like this breakdown, if you like how I present this, there's two things you can do. Number one, if you haven't gotten your natal chart read, then you should definitely sign up for my signature natal chart experience, which is called the Blueprint. We go really in depth when it comes to your natal chart. And it's actually, this service is actually three charts in one or three readings in one. It lets you know what chapter in life you're in, your natal chart, which is how you're designed, and the current transit so you know exactly what's going on right now. My clients love it. It's very comprehensive. That's a really great way to not only understand yourself, but start understanding astrology. So if you're interested in that, the link for a clarity call is in the description box below. That's where you can chat with me for 15 minutes. We can talk about the service, whether it's right for you, and if so, you can book. However, if you know straight away that this is something that you want to sign up for, the link to sign up is in the description box and also tagged to this video. That way you can start to understand how I work with my clients. And if you really like this content on this YouTube channel, I've been going strong on here for 6 years and hopefully for many more. Consider becoming a channel member. So for $2.99 a month, you will be a part of the inner orbit. You get early access to videos, members only videos, and something that I will be implementing soon called Chart Lab. This is where I go live, we dissect natal charts, and you have the opportunity to ask questions about your particular natal chart. And you can commune with other people. There's other perks. It's a really great way to not only more, get more access, but also to support the channel and my work. So if you're interested, the link to join is in the description box below, or you can just press the join button on your screen. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.